Welcome to another edition of Plug In with Avi and Kyle. We are Avi and Kyle, Internet's odd couple who just happen to be your best source for everything that is anything, but not really, but kind of. Not all the time. Sometimes. I guess it depends on the day.
Yes.
17 episodes.
Yes.
We're almost at 20.
Almost.
Almost. We're pretty close.
Yeah,
It's like we're
more.
almost drinking age.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost there. Our show can almost drink.
Yeah.
Yep. Right now it's just going through that weird life of high
You
school.
can be almost recruited to the military.
Yeah,
very
you
soon.
can. Yeah. So, episode 17 today, we have our guest, Roxanne Banks.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to the show. And
Thank you.
We'll have some tech stuff later, Avi.
Yes, couple things.
All right, well,
Yeah.
let's just get straight into this because I just want to talk to this guest. So terribly bad.
Yes,
Yay.
go ahead.
H, Roxanne, what's the H stand for? I got to know.
Her Highness. No, I'm just kidding. No, it actually stands for my great-grandmother's name. I was named after my great-grandmother, Harriet.
Harriet.
Yes.
Ah,
So,
okay.
but growing up as a child, Harriet was not a popular name.
Yeah.
I was called the Harry It. I was called a goat. I had a whole lot of nicknames, and I
That's
learned
mean.
how to fight because of that.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
cute as a girl.
Yeah.
So I decided to go by my middle name, which my family always called
Well,
me by
the
my middle
Harriet
name.
name, it's from the Rosie the Riveter days. So,
Yeah.
like back in World War II,
Right.
most
Yeah,
of the ladies
yeah.
were Harriet.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I am honored to be named after my great-grandmother who actually raised my mother, who was a wonderful woman. But the name just didn't
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
fit my personality.
Yeah. And
So,
it's a
yeah,
little
so we
out
went
of
with
touch the
Roxanne.
times, too.
Yeah.
That's fine. I go by my middle name, too.
Do
My first
you?
name's William.
Real? Oh, that's my brother's name. I
Yeah.
love the name William.
But I go by Kyle.
Okay.
Because my mom didn't want. We lived in Ohio.
Okay.
She didn't want people calling me Billy or Bill.
Right,
or
yeah.
Bob or whatever.
That's
you know.
true. That's true. You
You
got to
know.
watch those things.
Yeah. So we brought you in because you have this book.
Yes.
Living Single in a Married World.
Yes.
How to survive and thrive. It's not easy, but it's possible. So how did this start?
Great question, Kyle. It started with the fact that I've been single all my life, and I felt like I became an expert out of all my trauma and drama through my life. But no, seriously, about 4 or 5 years ago, it was put on my heart to start writing towards my single siblings because of the fact that so many of us struggle in our singleness because you desire marriage because we live in what we call a married world. The thing is everyone should be married with children and the little white picket fence and all that. You grow up thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't happen in the time in which you think it's going to happen,
Then
you start
think
to have
the
a
boat-
tough time.
You're
Yeah.
missing the boat or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's put on my heart to really encourage people because I've been single for so long. I've learned how to really survive and thrive in my singleness. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying my singleness. Now, yes, I still desire marriage. So for those of you that find me cute, no, I'm just kidding.
There's Roxanne is waiting.
Miss
Yes.
Roxanne Banks.
That's right. Thank you. I have found a lot of fun in my singleness. And so I wanted to really encourage other singles not to get stuck on the fact that you're single, but really get stuck on your passion and your purpose.
Okay.
Because I really believe, part of my passion and purpose is this book.
Yeah.
And it's really to give other people an option on what they can do in their singleness. So it was really birthed out of my own pain and my own experience and just my interviewing so many people. I've interviewed over 100 men and 100 women about what they've gone through in their singleness and what do they really want out of their singleness. And it's amazing.
What,
so if
does
you
it mean single, just not married, or they can be living together, or?
The book is really addressed to unmarried people, anyone who is not
Unmarried.
legally
Okay.
married. Now, I also have had several married people read the book and have said that it's done wonders for them too, because there's a lot of information about communication and things like that in there.
They got divorced.
Yeah.
So
They
right,
saw
they're like,
the
oh, I
light.
want to be single now. No, but yeah, so it
Well-
really is for anyone who's legally unmarried.
Well, up to the 70s, it was the thing to be married within 20, 22, 23.
Exactly.
But now the statistic shows that almost the population is divided between the married and unmarried.
Yeah.
So I think back in the old days, it was something to worry about. But
Right.
today, it's almost the norm to be living together or dating on a long-term 5, 6,
Yeah.
7 years. So
Yeah, the culture has changed. The couple culture has changed a lot.
Sure.
And because if you think about it, it used to be younger girls,
Yeah.
arranged marriages. Then it kind of went to 20s and 30s,
Yeah.
or your early 20s,
Right.
and now it's kind of mid 20s. People are thinking, "Oh, I need to get married and have a kid," and it's getting to the point where a lot of my friends are either dating someone that they've
Or
been in a
living
relationship for
together.
a while and just living together, and they're not married, and they don't see a reason. I mean, it seems to be losing its importance.
Actually, the statistics shows that living together, it's surpassing married.
Yeah.
Even though.
Well, yeah, actually, there's really 99.6 million people who are single. So I always tell my single siblings, we're not alone.
Yeah,
there's a big
yeah.
population of us.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, out of that, there's a huge percentage that are in a dating relationship or living together. But the one thing I talk about a little bit in my book, and I just want to share today, is the fact that, yes, the culture has changed, that people are living together, they're doing things, but at the end of the day, people still have those
Yeah,
same emotions.
exactly.
Women still want to get married.
wanna get
Yes.
married.
Men
Yeah.
still desire to have a son. You know what I mean? And those
Yeah.
different things. And so we
I
have
don't know
to really
about
come
that. You know, every wedding I go to, the girls jump on the bouquet of flowers. When
Absolutely.
the wedding and the bride tossing, but
Right.
when the guy comes to throw the girdle, the
garter.
every guy standing with his arm down, like it falls in the front of them.
Well,
Take it
that's
out.
That's
that has something to do with like the gender roles, really.
Exactly.
Yeah,
how
but,
they feel
but
about
they're
that.
not jumping into it like the girls would.
Yeah.
So
and that's what is when I talk about in the book a little bit is the fact that men really, if they can get away without getting married, they will. But the bottom line, I think deep down, every man does want to be in a loving relationship.
yeah.
Yes,
They
of
want to
course.
feel
Of
respected.
course.
They want someone who's going to be there and have their back. They really do want that. But the image of marriage has been placed in such a way that it's either not a good thing or you don't necessarily need it. And so men will take the path of least resistance and not go ahead and do that. And
Exactly.
women have been allowing that to go on. And so I encourage my single siblings, if you really want to get married, don't settle for that, because a
Exactly.
man will step up if you make him step up.
Yeah.
I have a classic example. My best friend, Michelle, she absolutely loved her man and they had a wonderful relationship, but he thought marriage was unnecessary. So she said, well, I have to cut this relationship off. And he's like, but we're great. What are you doing?
yeah, exactly.
And she's like, no, I want marriage.
Yeah.
And she said, when you're prepared to marry me,
Yep.
we're good. But other
Well-
than that, I have nothing to say to you.
Yeah.
Well, months went by and he'd call her. She's like, I'm sorry, are you calling to ask me to marry you? And he's like, no, I just want to talk to you. She says, oh, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
Guess what? He put a ring on it. They are married now. They've been married for 13 years. They're happy.
go.
They have a great relationship. And I absolutely love him.
So
She-
little leverage.
Exactly. But she wasn't doing that to make him.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
saying, look, I love you enough to let you go.
Yeah.
Because I understand, maybe that's not for you,
Yeah.
but it is for me.
Yeah.
So she stood her ground. So that's why I tell
Yeah.
single women who desire marriage, stand your ground. And I question
And don't settle.
exactly.
I mean,
don't
with
settle.
the 50% divorce rate, it's because of the settling.
Exactly.
It's because they're just
Yep.
there's the people who
saying
do
yes
feel
even
like
though
I
they
have
say
to be
no.
married at this
Right.
age.
Yeah.
Just jump into it.
exactly.
And realize
I
the
know we just did a wedding. I just filmed a wedding this
Mm-hmm.
weekend, and the couple have known each other for over 20 years.
Wow.
They went. He was in her, sweet 16 or
Mm-hmm.
sweet 18. They met at like this. He was a like hip hop dancer style guy.
Mm-hmm.
They met through that, and it was just like on and off for years. They knew each other and were friends, but they never kind of
Dated.
Yeah, dated,
Tied
and they were
together.
always missing each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're in their 40s now, and they just got
Wow.
married, and
Oh, pretty.
one of the happiest couples I've ever
See,
seen.
that's it.
One of the happiest. They're complete opposites,
Right.
attitude wise or personality wise, but it
It
works.
works.
Yeah,
That's
it works.
it.
So what's your advice to all these single men and women sitting on the fence or thinking that they missed the boat? What would you tell them?
First of all, I want to say be encouraged, because if you haven't missed anything, I believe when it's your time, it's your time. And the bottom line is, don't settle for what you don't want. Make sure that you know yourself first. First of all, do a self-exploration. Like I talk in the book, you want to follow your passion and your purpose. And when you're following your passion and your purpose, you tend to meet people that are like you.
Exactly.
And so then you start to realize, wow, this person, like you were saying, the couple that's known each other for over 20 years and now just getting married. It's because of that long time relationship that they built, friendship that they built, that helped them to understand this is the type of person I need.
Yes.
A lot of times in our mind, we think we know what we want. But realistically, it's not the same thing. We want
Yeah.
the person who's going to compliment us, who is going to encourage us, who's going to be there for us, and who has the same value system that we have. So I encourage people to make sure that you are looking to find that person who encourages you and compliments you.
Yeah.
And when you're doing your passion and your purpose, you'll do that.
Yes.
You'll soon
Yes.
find that person that's going to be that compliment for you.
I think I want to go back to something you just said, which was find somebody who shares the same values. as you.
Yes, very important.
It's of the utmost importance, and it's not just then I don't feel like it's a way of saying you have to marry someone who believes in God if you don't believe in God. It's one of those things where just marry somebody who's on the same level as you, because if it comes to the point where you have a religious person married to a non-religious person,
There's
going to be a conflict there.
Absolutely.
From the outside.
There's
Yeah.
going to be a conflict
Right.
there
Yeah.
eventually.
Absolutely.
Church
So-
they need to go. I
Yeah.
don't want to go. It
Right.
Exactly.
starts there, yeah.
Or religion plays such a big part in everybody. Like if you're religious, it plays
Right.
a big part in your
Huge.
whole life.
Huge. It's a very
Decisions
big
you
part of
make
my life.
are based on those beliefs.
Absolutely.
And if your partner or the person you're sharing your life with doesn't believe that,
So if you're religious, go to Christian Mingle.
exactly. Christian Mingle, ChristianMingle.com. Well, we have about 30 seconds left before we have to go to commercial. And normally I would say goodbye to you and let you plug right now, but I want to have you back for the second
Oh,
part
I
of the
would
show.
love it.
And I want to talk some more about this because I
Absolutely.
find it really interesting, and I think our viewers would like it. And then
Absolutely,
after
I'd
that,
love
we'll get
to.
into Tech Talk if you
Yeah.
don't mind sticking around for that.
I'd love it.
Okay. Well, this has been Plug In with Avi and Kyle. We will be right back at the beautiful OC Digital Studio. Check them out at ocdigitalstudio.com. We'll see you when we get back from commercial break. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Kyle is awake and rolling.
Welcome back to Plug In with Avi and Kyle. We are here again after the commercial break. Thank you for staying with us. With Roxanne Banks, Miss, all
Miss,
you fellas
right.
out there. Miss, you want a strong, smart woman. She's sitting right here in the studio with us.
All right,
So
amen.
contact her. Hey. So before we left, we were talking about compatibility.
Yes.
And how having the same values are important.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a section in your book where you talk about breaking up is hard to do.
Oh, yes.
And if your values and all of your beliefs and thoughts don't align.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. The one thing that I've noticed is that breaking up is truly hard to do. I don't know about you guys, but I've been through some horrible breakups. I've been
So
through
you're talking out of experience.
absolutely, and out of interviews.
Multiple
Yes,
experience. Okay.
unfortunately.
How I mean, you're like 18. How many relationships
Yes,
could you have been
18,
in?
exactly. A lot in my little 18 years. But it's so funny because I talk about, like, for men, there's this fight or flight syndrome where men will either pick a fight with you so that they will make you break up with them, or they'll just fly away. They'll take the flight syndrome, which then they don't call, they don't tell you it's over, none of that kind of stuff. What they
They
do
can
is
text you now. They don't have to
Yeah.
call.
but the interesting thing is some of them don't even text. All of a
Oh,
sudden,
okay.
you're in this relationship, and then they just stop talking to you. And you're like, what happened? And so you're calling them. I mean, did they join the Israeli army? I mean, like, what happened, you
The
know?
Mossad. The Mossad.
Right, you know?
Secret
Did they join the
Service.
circus? Like, where are they? Because they're not returning my calls, nor
Yeah.
are they calling me. So you go from talking to 4 times a day to absolutely 0 with no reason. There was no fight, no
No
nothing.
warning.
Because they've decided within them that it's over. and they don't know how to tell you, because what I understand from all the men I've interviewed is that they don't want to see a woman cry. They don't want them to ask why, because they generally don't have an answer.
Yeah.
And so they just feel very uncomfortable. So I'm just not going to say anything.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Just ignore it.
It'll
And I'm
go
like,
away.
that doesn't work for us.
It's like the ostrich syndrome. Put your head in the sand.
Exactly.
You won't see him. He's invisible.
If I don't see you, you're not there.
You're not there. You're really not there. And so it's frustrating for a woman because if we go to, because we're emotionally driven. So we go to crying. We don't know what's happened. We're calling your friends and family thinking you were in a car accident and couldn't tell them that I was your girlfriend, whatever. And so it becomes dramatic. And what I say is you end up leaving dead soldiers on the field. Because as I spoke in the last segment, that you got to follow your passion and your purpose. If you're working in your passion and purpose and now you're distracted with what happened to my boyfriend, you're no longer walking in your passion and your purpose.
Yeah.
And so you've just derailed someone from doing what they were called to do.
Correct.
And then for women, what we like to do, unfortunately, is we will belittle a man. Because we figure if we belittle him, he'll walk away. And that way we'll be like, oh, you are ugly, you are fat, you are whatever. I mean, they'll do whatever.
Well, why'd you look at me when you said both of those?
I did not say that. I did not
Hey,
look at you.
that is not nice.
I did not look at you. You're a very handsome, svelte young man.
There we go.
And so we'll belittle men. We'll start talking about other men are talking to us and how so and so called me, and just to give you the hint that it's over.
Yeah.
And so we have a poor way of communicating as well.
Yeah.
So what I talk about in the book is let's be honest with one another. Let's stop playing the game and hurting one another and leaving dead soldiers on the field, because they take that hurt into their next relationship, into the next relationship, into the next relationship. That's why the divorce rate is on the high. It's 50%. It's over 50% now, divorce rate.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate because I
Well,
don't
maybe
think
the
people start out that
original
way.
and maybe the original intent of being married wasn't the right one.
That's
So
another
it
reason.
started on the left foot and it continued and went downhill.
Absolutely.
And some they cannot deal with stress or what have you. So the easiest way is just exit.
Exactly.
Or rushing into
Yeah.
it, not actually knowing the person
Exactly.
who you're marrying. You think they're one way, and then once the honeymoon phase is over, all of a sudden,
party's over, yeah.
What
he
did I
or
do?
she is not keeping up what they were doing when you were dating.
Right.
And I think that's key to having a good relationship is, you just don't do these things for your partner because you're dating. You do them
Right.
because you love them.
Yeah.
And you
Absolutely.
continue to do them after you're married.
Absolutely.
And that's what keeps a relationship strong.
And that's why I talk about also that I call it the 4 seasons rule.
Okay.
You need to date for 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Because if stuff happens in 1 year, and I'm not saying there have been people who've met and married in 6 weeks, okay, but that's a very, very rare situation. Most people need at least a year to get to know someone, because in that process, someone's going to get sick. Someone might have a loved one that passes away. Something's going to happen on your job. There's different things, and you see how those people react to those different situations, and if you can handle it.
So
So
that's
if you're
good.
not dating the 4 seasons, you got a problem
So
already.
that's good and dandy for the people living in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah,
If you're
but
living in the
then you just
equator.
never get married.
Right.
Never get married.
Okay, so a year process. But the key is communication. And so you got to be honest with yourself first, and then you
Yes.
got to be honest with that other
Yes.
person.
Yes.
And you have to say, you know what, I really like you. You're a great guy, but you're just not great for me.
Yes.
And I would highly recommend you if you wanted a reference to somebody.
Yeah.
I'll give you a reference.
recommendation.
Yeah.
But I don't see us being together
Yeah.
for forever, breaking up never. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
that's why I encourage people, be honest with the one. And then you got to search your heart as to why you don't want to be with that individual. For me, it's going to be, you know what? I really like you as a person, but when I think about my value system and what I want to do in my life, we don't go down the same trail. Nothing wrong with your trail, but your trail doesn't intersect with mine.
So how do you deal with the guys and girls that they say, "Oh, I like him like a friend," and we go party and all this, but not the boyfriend material?
Right.
I mean, where's the separation line?
You have to definitely be clear as to your intentions anytime you're with in a friendship or a boyfriend-girlfriend
Especially
type
with a man.
relationship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man.
Especially with a man.
Yeah. But with a girl too, because we're so emotionally driven. If you even look at us right or you wink at us right, we're gonna think, oh, he's in love with me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so we begin to go down that trail. But I think it's keeping the open lines of communication. You have to be clear in the lines, because I think, and this is, you gentlemen, help me if I'm wrong, men like to keep it a little bit blurry just in case.
Oh, yeah.
Because y'all want to know that you can
You
still
need
get
an
back in that
emergency
door.
exit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because you never know.
You never
Oh,
know.
no, rainy day.
Yeah.
When I was interviewing some of the men, I said, why is it that you guys are, still talking to exes or thinking about them or whatever, and they said, you always want to know there's an open door. Just in case the relationship you're in now
Or a
doesn't
quick
work,
exit.
you can go. Or a quick exit.
Yeah. But that's
And
a
so-
sign of, I mean, if you're doing that, though, that's a sign that your current relationship is in
Trouble.
trouble
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, I think getting to know the person, being open and honest. But the hardest thing, especially these days with texting,
Yes.
Facebook,
Please don't text men.
Yeah, you run into this issue of, is the person you're with honest?
Yeah.
You may be being honest, but they're not, and I think that's why
so
the
true.
year rule is very important. Anybody who gets
Well-
married before, if they've only known each other 6 months, is an idiot.
There's
It's-
there's a
yes.
segue to all this. Just last week, I was driving and on the news they were talking. An attorney had developed a site for $25 a month. They will pretend that you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. They send you text messages. You
What?
can ask, you wanted pictures, and every month they give you a handwritten note, but it's virtual, nobody there, just to pretend for your family.
No.
Yes, and he
Avi,
said he has.
seriously?
Yes. and
Is
he
this
had-
another
he had
scapegoat story?
Yeah. No, seriously. He has like 30,000 people signed up to pay him 25, and most of
you
them
serious?
are soldiers that they want to be with their buddy. Oh, my girlfriend texts me. Oh, to be-
No.
I swear to you, $25 a month
When
to
are
be
we
part
going to
of
go
it.
back to being honest, having real relationships, talking to one another? I love social media. I love, all the technology we have. But we need to get back to talking to someone face to face.
Exactly.
We need to get back to sending them a card with a nice note.
Yeah.
Going to dinner and
Yeah.
having a conversation.
Yeah.
This texting and
Yeah.
social media thing
Yeah.
is out of control.
It's actually, there is nothing social about the social media.
Nothing.
yeah.
Do you know, they said that 25% of the huge percentage of divorces right now come from social media because
Oh, yeah.
their partner sees them on Facebook with somebody else talking
yeah.
not in a right way and all these different things.
And then
I'm
they
like,
text
social
them,
media is crazy.
Party's over.
Why did you like her photo?
Right.
Why did you like her photo?
Exactly.
I don't know.
just
She's
look
just a
cute.
friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? That's what's great is that I have a Facebook, but everything's linked through my Instagram, Twitter, all that.
Okay.
So I just do stuff on Instagram. And it goes to all three of them. So
Right.
I don't run into that with my wife. And I don't really care that much about social media when it comes to like my own. So she knows like I just basically I go through and if it's somebody like,
Right.
what a friend, I just
Yeah.
like.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the picture is
Just to
or
give
what
them
it
the
is.
likes.
Yeah.
Even
But,
if you
because
don't
you make sure that your wife feels secure.
well, yeah. you
Because
have
of the
to.
one thing about women, we need security. We need to know that we are the one that you love.
Exactly.
You guys need that respect, and that you guys are the one. You guys
Yeah,
got
yeah.
you're my provider. You're
Yeah,
my man.
yeah.
That men are more on respect. We need security and love, and you guys
Exactly.
need respect.
Well,
and so
that's
that's
where
why
the
your
dude-
wife is happy, and she allows you to be on Facebook. All right,
Yeah.
you can like all you want. She all right with that.
Well, because she knows I don't pay any attention. Like,
Right.
I mean, there are guys who, I mean, the thing that surprises me are there are guys in relationships who follow like these models
I know,
or
huh?
these celebrities, like the people we
Kardashians.
refuse
Yeah.
to talk about.
oh, sorry.
And
don't say those names?
No.
just
Okay.
because
It's
of
forbidden in this
Okay.
place.
yeah, just because of the way the female looks or the way she
Right.
portrays herself online,
Exactly.
and I just can't see that being a healthy
But
experience. for other
these
women
guys
and
are
things.
literally the little bird has more brain
Yeah.
than them.
That's
I mean,
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Go,
but-
Avi. I'm just going to say wow to that. I
We're-
refuse to go on that.
We're
trail.
running out of time. We only have about a minute left. So could you tell everyone? I'm sorry, I know.
I've
Could you
asked
tell
for-
everyone at home how they can find your book, where they can get a hold of you on your social media?
Yes.
And how they can maybe win a date with Miss Roxanne
Okay.
Banks.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. This has been wonderful. For those of you who would like to get my book, Living Single in a Married World, How to Survive and Thrive, it's not easy, but it is possible. You can go to my website at www.christianlifesingles.com, or you can email me at roxannebanksencourages@gmail.com, and you can call here.
Call here
I'm
at
gonna
OC
leave some
Digital
books with
Studio.
them.
Yeah. OCDigitalStudio.com. You can reach us there. Plug in with Avi and Kyle. Plug in pod. .tv, and you can find us on iTunes. And we got to go. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you.